Echo Lima 87. This is 100 watts and a wire.
Hello and welcome to 100 watts and a wire. It's Christian. My call sign is Kilo Zero Sierra Tango Hotel, K0STH, coming to you from Southwest Florida. And hoping things are going well for you. Boy, do we know what happened down this way. And all along the southwest coast of Florida. And just before that, we know Hurricane Helene has gone and caused major damage up into the western mountains of North Carolina. Thinking about all those folks, and if you're a ham radio operator in any of those areas, I'm definitely thinking about you, and if you get a chance, when things get a little better, drop me a line. I'd love to hear your story about how things went for you. I discussed on a new project called America on the Air, and many of you amateur radio operators may be thinking, oh, that sounds like I got that. Sorry. It's going to be my new project, gathering stories, conversations, and commentary, just to diversify myself a little bit. I was raised on radio and like to gather these stories, and from time to time I meet very interesting people doing cool things, and that's what that's going to be about. But episode 1 of America on the Air, I went into detail about the hurricane that came through here, direct hit, being in the eye of the hurricane and what that was like, how the community came together afterwards. And here we are today. So a little bit of a delay in getting a new podcast episode out to you. But let me update you with where I am. My next door neighbor has a huge tree. It's an oak tree. I can only imagine it's 100 years old, I would think. But of course, it's anchored and its roots are sitting in sand for the most part. Sand. Now, when I put my DX Commander up there, I've got the signature model. What is it? The signature 7, I believe. I think it's 7 or 9. Is it 9? I don't know. I just have it. I put it up and made sure everything was clear above it. You know, meaning any sort of direct contact that might, interfere with this antenna. It cost me a little bit, and I'm trying to protect it, in other words. And I've got a tree on one side that's to the north, and this oak that comes over my fence into the yard type of deal from my neighbor. And, it was clear for a while until after Milton. This oak tree has shifted considerably. And when I went after the storm to put the DX Commander back up, this is a vertical antenna, mind you, about 29 feet. I could tell that tree over there has come out of the ground some. It is definitely leaning more because I used to be in the clear. Now I'm not so much. And I took that antenna back down. So right now we're kind of in the, let's see what the neighbors do with that tree, what's going to happen here. As soon as I put it back up, it's going to fall and take my fence, and it's going to take my antenna, and it's just going to be a mess. I hope it doesn't come down because, it's a huge tree. They were telling me they got quotes for this tree, by the way, to take it down some years ago. 40 grand. Can you imagine that? 40 grand to take down a tree? I've heard folks after Milton were being charged $10,000 for a tree that's already fallen. Cut it up and remove it. Now, I'm not saying that's not hard work. It's heavy work, and it's stuff that has passed me by those days after my hernia. You've been following along with 100 watts and a wire. We are over 400 episodes deep. We've been going for nearly a decade, and at some point a couple years ago, I pulled up with a hernia. I probably lived with it prior to it becoming a real issue for me. But I'm not trying to lift up a tree. I'm also not trying to pay $10,000 or $40,000 for you to take it down. So I think there was some gouging involved. There certainly was with flights, hotels, food. You notice when you go to the market and it's like, oh, this is on sale. Yeah, none of that was happening the week of Hurricane Milton. All the sales, you were paying full price for everything. And that's just, I guess how it goes when people are stocking up on whatever. Anywho, my antenna is still down because it is in such a tricky position that I don't want to lose it or even take the risk of losing it. And quite frankly, I have been busy with the day job with production. In fact, as I record this, I have another day of ballet filming ahead this afternoon. But it's up early. I've got the window open and we've got birds chirping, and it's a nice refresher from what has been coming by, which is basically sirens. When I recorded that episode, and I did post it in 100 Watts in a Wire, it's the last episode about Hurricane Milton. It was not specific to ham radio, and I know from time to time that will get some people barking, like, Christian, you're not talking about radio. You're talking about yourself. I had a guy buy me a cup of coffee. Bless his heart. He was anonymous. I'm guessing it was a guy. Told me that's the last cup of coffee he's buying me because, the show used to be funny. I guess I did jokes and stuff. I don't know. I guess I did some jokes and I didn't talk about myself. So I imagine this fella was real quick and new, but I appreciate the coffee, and then that's it. If I don't talk about my own experience, I don't know what I'd be talking about. But thank you, brother or sister, brother. I'm sure it's a brother for that cup of coffee. Anyway, you should support the content you enjoy, whether it's my content or someone else's. If you dig it, and you can. All the money, I say all the money like it's buckets full. It's not. This is mostly community supported. We do get support by BioNO Power, and I do use BioNO Power because they are the best lithium phosphate batteries that I can find for my ham radios. And I do invite you to check them out as well as a sponsor. That's bionopower.com, BIOENNO power.com. So if you're looking for a power solution, you're out there in the parks, up on the summits, give them a second look. But in most of what we do, it's community supported. We've been kicking since 2015. So if you want to go to 100wattsinawire.com, look for the Buy Me a Coffee option where you can help support the content. It goes right back in to the cost of production. And frankly, I could use the support here. Want this podcast to pay for itself. That's the idea that we get together. And we'll be bringing our friends on. Like I said, the people in West North Carolina, the Western Hills. Love to talk to those folks. Anybody who's even working doing support, because not to bounce around, but that's typically what I like to do. People are providing support there outside of the government assistance. That's a hot button I'm not going to touch right now. But good people from all over the place, different states are going there to help. I wish I could break away to do it, but got a young family to feed and not a lot of time accrued to go and just help volunteer. But many thanks to those who can and are doing that for those people. We're still in hurricane season, as a matter of fact. So we're going through November 30th. Hopefully here we're going to be out. I'm hoping the cooler air is going to keep these storms, but you don't know until it's done. One thing that did survive was my 80 meter. I got an 80 meter antenna. It's a double bazooka, and it goes along the fence line. So if you picture a corner where a fence comes together in one direction and heads off into the other one, creating your rectangle around your property, right in the corner is where I put the centerpiece. And, we're talking 6 feet, guys. We're not talking 50 feet. I used to have a couple of 80-meter antennas back on the homestead that were up there at least 50 feet. That's a lot different than 6. But I can hear, and maybe I can get out. We'll take a look at the trees. The trees have been augmented because of the storm. I think about 110 miles an hour. We'll get rid of deadwood for sure. It may also give you a whole new look up there. And I need to go back and just see if I can throw a wire, some kind of wire. I'd like to get an 80-meter something up there with a little bit of power connected to it. Your options and thoughts are always welcome. Speaking of that, as we have a Sunday morning, I did put a community question out there because winter is coming for many of you, and it's probably cold in some of these places. Don't forget, find us on Discord. We're on Facebook. We're also on TikTok, and I'm doing my best as a one-man gang to keep those social media outlets updated and cool for people to come and say what they want to say. We don't have a lot of riffraff. We have lots of people on Facebook. Discord's more of a chill environment, I think, there. Just a completely different sort of social outlet, but it's there for you if you want to go there and meet some people calmly. Our nets are updated and stay pretty busy, I'd say, Sunday evenings. Join us on our nets, 8 o'clock Eastern Time for the 100 watts and a wire Sunday evening net. Everybody is welcome there. It doesn't matter what you run, 100 watts or 1,500 watts. It's all good to go. But I put out a question on Facebook, and as we move closer, what projects are you working on? You can leave me your call sign. And of course, I try to mention everybody as we can. So Steve says he's just trying to get back in with the radios. He's been off the air for 2 years, some general health issues and other stuff. He's not talking much more, so talking to a distant voice just hasn't happened for him. And again, I invite Steve to join us on the Sunday evening net. Everybody's friendly there. It's not a quick check-in and off unless that's kind of how your vibe is and that's where you want to go. It's all good. Our net control operators are very patient, very friendly. And that's kind of the way this community was set up. So if you have questions, that sort of thing, you could always send them here. We answer those questions. We can also do it on the net. So look for that Sunday evening net. It is a net that's been going since 2015, and the fellas are holding it down. And it's much appreciated. Justin says he wants to get his extra. And look, if I can do it, you can do it too. Butch says he wants to get an 80-meter double bazooka up higher than 15 feet. Only a few trees around a semi-HOA subdivision. I told him, look, mine is up at 6 feet. To which he gave emojis that were like, what is it, the face palm or the palm to the face, and laughing. But my friend Butch, although this has not been tested, and it sounds very limiting, and which I imagine it is. It's a cloud burner at 6 feet. There have been people who have loaded up cattle fences and done amazing things. Just put the antenna up and let's see what it can do. All right. So yeah, if I can get it up higher, I will. Right now, it's good for listening, and it hasn't really been tested. John, he's Alpha India 9 Delta. He says he's working on putting up a half-wave 160 center-fed dipole in a Z pattern to kind of get up around the trees. And remember, friends, you can do that. You don't have to have straight wires. You can bend that wire, move it around a little bit, and just try it. I would just say go ahead and put it up there and see what happens. He's got the coax. He's got the wire. And he's hoping to do that very soon. No less than 25 feet. With parts maybe about 50 feet. So I would just go and put it up. And then again, I want to go out there and look at my trees and see what Mother Nature's pruning has done to get me a little more options. Over the years, I don't think at this house, they've really took too much care in pruning the trees in my yard. They look fine, but they need some love. And They're pretty dense. So, might not be a clean install in terms of straight wires and that sort of thing. Adam says he's continuing to work on CW. He's hoping to get, pardon me, proficient enough to take the advanced CW Academy class. Ricardo, my friend over there, his call sign is Kilo Victor 4, October? Kilo Victor 4, Oscar Papa. His 100 watt and wire ID number is 270. Thank you, Ricardo. He wants to redo his 80 meter off-center fed and relocate the endpoints that got damaged during Hurricane Milton. He's on the east side of the state, and that was a monster storm. Came across and it really affected everyone here in Florida. Nathan said, great time to put up antenna wire when the leaves are gone. Also, a de-expedition to Rotuma in 2024. So that's cool. A youth-centered DXP to expose the new generation to the art of DXing. He's Kilo 4 November Hotel Whiskey. Thank you, Nathan. Hope to hear you. Keep us posted on that activation. Larry said he'd love to get the wire back up in the air at his house. His last one succumbed to the elements over a year ago, and he's been HF silent at home. He's Kilo 0 Hotel India Oscar. Paul Brown, our brother there from, well, he's been around. He's been on 100 watts and a wire. Not sure if he's done Ham Nation, but it's possible. He will correct me if I'm wrong. But a mainstay at Amateur Radio Newsline, his 100 watt and a wire number is 141. You can tell those OGs that have been running with me for a long time have those low 100 watt and a wire IDs. You can get those at 100wattsandawire.com. And we share those like this time, and we share them on the net. You're welcome to join us. He's rebuilding his main POTA rig. It's an FT857D with matching MFJ tuner and a Halibut Electronics, what is this, OHIS interface. From the big Gator rack bag into a Harbor Freight faux Pelican case to make it smaller and easier to carry and to set up. In the winter, he does a quick after-work POTA activation from inside his car, and he needs to simplify it a little bit more. Jeff says he's assembling a QMX transceiver and troubleshooting a Ten-Tech Titan amplifier. Good luck with that, Jeff. Steve says he's just building a new steel building and will be moving the ham shack there, scoping out where and what antennas to start with. Good luck with that project. Stephen Jerry says he'll be building a 6-meter Slim Jim. Phil, Victor Echo 3, Delta Oscar. He's getting a receive antenna for 160. Just waiting for the final yard leaf raking to install it. He's KB0, November Echo Sierra. Steve says he's getting an end-fed inverted L for 160 and 80 meters. Man, I missed the opportunity to go long wire, and I need to explore a little bit more, maybe some end feds. I want to put an end fed up there that can hold a little power. Power.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, that's the power. Patrick says my winter project is to get one or both of these Kenwood hybrid radios back on the air. They've been in storage since I bought them in 2014. And unknown how long they were unused prior to that. He put a picture on Facebook, and they are sexy. If you like sexy radio photos, Patrick has done it again. Chris says the Go Box he's building for a search and rescue team that he volunteers for, and will get an HF wire built and operational at the home. QTH, money permitting. Don says he's figuring out how to knock out the noise of his neighbor's new outside LED lights. They trash his 80 meters when they come on. And he wants some suggestions. I told Don, I said, look, talk to Paul Brown. He may have some thoughts. And boy, did he. So if you are interested, this is the kind of community we are supporting here with 100 watts and a wire. Paul gave Don a lot of thoughts and information. about what happens around Thanksgiving in his neighborhood and what those lights do to him and what he tries to do to mitigate. So think about that. Look at 100 Watts in a Wire on the Facebook page. Scott says he's got 148 feet of end-fed delight, mounting it on a 60-foot Roan tower. Those are just sexy words all put together. Thank you for that, Scott. Jason, he says, as a fairly new Aries EC, he's working on many plans for events and activities, as well as catching up on the new ARRL coursework for the Aries task book. Thank you for the service that you provide there. It is significant. During Hurricane Milton, I listened to radio exclusively. Television spent a lot of time sensationalizing things, and as they do, and that's the news and the media in general from, and it was hard to sift through. If you live in a hurricane zone, my suggestion is to, one, listen to radio, have yourself a two-way radio, and get yourself a weather radio, and follow the National Hurricane Center. All the other news outlets are either pulling the sources from the National Hurricane Center or weather spotters that are ham radio operators anyway. I like to cut down all the talking head nonsense that freaks people out. It's hard enough and stressful enough. Don't get me started, damn it. There, you did it. You did it. Woo! Sean says, I have a 160 meter and a 75 meter and 40 meter dipoles to raise onto the tower. He has another 40-foot tower to erect with a beam to install. He's Kilo India 5 Yankee Papa Zulu. Again, that's next level stuff, Sean. We appreciate that. And he posted some photographs for us to do whatever we need to do as we look at them. John says he's going to get a Varmint XL 1500. I don't know what that is, but that sounds interesting. Bernard, he says he's got an end-fed that he needs to figure out where he's going to go from there. Randy, he's working from his tech. He thought extra, lost his license due to failure to renew. My 10 years is coming up next year, so I'll be paying a mindful eye on that as well. All right, short and sweet. Folks are out there working. I've also put up another community question regarding working during emergencies. We'll get to that one at another time. I want to remind you that our net is on Sunday evenings, 8 o'clock. Eastern time. You're saying, Chow, what frequency? Well, it depends. We're not that kind of net where we bogart the frequency. We do use NetLogger, and we try hard. We don't always get there, but we try to put our frequencies on our social media, so Facebook and Discord. Look for both of those. If you find Facebook, you can connect to all the other social media, or if you want the real hub, go to 100wattsandawire.com. 100wattsandawire.com. We've been kicking it with you and building community since 2015. If you have a business, you want to support the content that you enjoy, you can do that from the website. Get yourself a 100-watt ID. That's just something that is issued to you sequentially, and you'll just have it. You don't have to do anything with it. We do share those on our net. Sometimes we have activity days where we get out there and we have like a fallout, which I'd like to bring back. The world has been pretty tricky to navigate, and I've seen this in other people's lives, and then it happened in mine, where you've got to put down amateur radio for a little bit to deal with things that are happening in your life or with your family, and it's totally natural. My thanks to the community for keep going. Keep going. We keep the nets going. We check in. We keep up with one another. Hell, we even have a pastor or two. You'd think I'm kidding. That's real deal. But I want to keep you updated on what's going on with the oak tree next door. My inability or not willingness to go ahead and put that antenna back up at the moment. I want to see what they're doing. I know they're getting estimates on that. I just don't want to see that antenna get snapped, broken, snagged by branches coming down, falling down. But I can tell it's leaning, and you can see the roots. You can see the roots. So my children and family are staying away from this particular side of the yard. Friends, we're also on YouTube. If I can keep up with the editing to post videos, we take your questions. You can send them to me directly on any of the social media. You're welcome. You're stuck, put it out there, and we'll answer your question. I'd like to get back with the fellas as well. Tonight, I'll be shooting a performance, so it's an early day of recording. But I hope you're fine, staying strong and healthy, supporting one another, finding new hams to mentor. And if you're having trouble with that, 100 Watts and a Wire is a good source. My thanks to Bioenno Power, who continues to support us. My thanks to those who are already supporting on a monthly basis. It means a lot. And I think as we go on, we'll continue to have some gatherings, thinking about maybe a monthly time where we get together with our supporters and our members and answer some questions and share our stories as well. This would be outside of the podcast. So think about it. If you can, that would be great. If you can't right now, I understand that as well. All right, friends, good luck the rest of the way. We will catch up again soon. I think I need to do a walk and talk and just describe to you some of the things that we're seeing around here in Southwest Florida. Don't forget, if you're curious about other stories or you have others to share, we have a ham radio operator in our community that made a contact on CB with Johnny Cash. Yes, the man in black. So we all have great stories. Look for America on the Air. It is not a radio-specific promotion. It's not like Spoda or Soda or whatever. America on the Air. It's more like a radio show. We talk about diverse topics. Look for it wherever you get podcasts. We're also on the Tickety Talk. We're on the YouTube. Not on Facebook yet, but you'll be the first ones there to subscribe because it's brand new. Appreciate you. Would love to have you. Again, good luck the rest of the way. Take care of yourself. And by all means, if you can, please try and stay above the noise. 7-3.
To join the 100 Watts and a Wire community, visit 100wattsandawire.com.